2, 1. Welcome to episode 2 of the Legalize Stalling podcast. I am Jake Tucker here with Skylar Crespo.
Yep, we're back. Round 2. Lots of portal talk, some Hodge talk, and just wrestling talk overall.
Basically, NIL.
Yeah, it's a new era.
It's like a wild west.
It is a wild west. I'll say this: I feel like it's still not as crazy as like football or basketball. Those are a different world. That's like actual free agency. I mean, it's obviously still crazy in wrestling.
Yeah, we're seeing similar things, just on like a smaller scale.
Yes, and
very, very similar.
Yeah, I think most of that is there's more money in those footballs, basketballs than there's wrestling. So, like you said, it's a bigger scale at those mainstream sports.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Obviously, the portal kind of went crazy like right after our last episode, so we didn't really talk.
Yes.
I mean, Swiderski and Facundo were in the portal, but now they've both committed to Oklahoma State.
Yep. I just saw Facundo. That was, 30 minutes ago, right? Like that's very fresh.
That was like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm expecting one tomorrow too. Like at literally almost every day since NCAAs, there's been a switch up of teams essentially, or at least a entering of the portal from somebody crazy. Right. Obviously, Oklahoma State's hitting it hard. Iowa seems to be hitting it hard. I mean, makes sense. Both these programs have money to give. Like this NIL is creating a bigger gap, I think, from your blue bloods and your mid majors, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you mentioned Iowa. Obviously, I believe they picked up both Nasir Bailey and Jordan Williams, correct?
Yes.
And
they did.
No disrespect to Jordan Williams, he's a good wrestler. He's very good.
Yes.
But I mean, I've seen these numbers that are getting thrown around, like $300K.
Yeah.
He's never All-American.
No, and all respect to Nasir Bailey, he's done it before, but he didn't do it the last opportunity he had to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
As good as those guys are, like you said, that to me, after the Parco Teamer situation, you'd think you would
avoid this.
Be a little, yeah. And those two are a little different because they both got hurt. But this seems like you're asking for it to happen again, to basically waste your money.
Yeah. Well, and I think me and you talked a little bit about this, how like I believe that Iowa needs to get back to kind of that Gable
yes,
that Gable vibe,
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of lost their identity.
Yeah, for sure.
Even 10 years ago. I mean, those squads that they had, I mean, they all wrestled. Now, I'm not going to say they all wrestled the same, but like they were all tough. Yeah. They all had great gas tanks.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything flashy, but like they just wore you down, and they're just the type of stuff. And I feel like in the last couple of years they kind of lost that. Yeah,
there's no theme to their team at all. There's obviously no. I feel like we're just dragging Iowa right now, but it just seems like there's no loyalty in the program, obviously, to anybody, from the coaches to the wrestlers, from the wrestlers to the coaches. It just seems like everybody's replaceable. Like,
you're right.
Yeah, you're only worth as much as you were yesterday, I guess. I don't know.
Did you say on the last episode that you think Ferrari's going there?
Yes, and everything I'm hearing is no, that he's not going to Iowa. But I still think it makes too much sense not to. I hear a lot of Iowa State for AJ Ferrari, which they're saying because of Chris Perry is at Iowa State. I guess he was basically his main coach at Oklahoma State when he was there, like the guy he was closest to, I guess, on that staff. And
right.
But back to Iowa, there are definitely huge rumors of them getting Dean Peterson too.
Yeah, so I heard the same thing, and man, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. Dean Peterson is not an All-American, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
He wasn't this year. I know that for sure, and I don't think he was last year either. But
I'm not sure if he's All-American. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah.
But he is that sequence he hit against Figueroa. That was insane. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, super. He almost like I guess it was more of a cradle than a Navy ride, but you don't see the Navy ride utilized too much these days, and I
Right.
think it's underutilized. I think it is. But yeah, no, that was filthy for sure. And it's crazy that neither of them placed.
So he's a 3-time qualifier. He made
Okay.
it to the round of 12 twice. Once 2 years ago, and
Okay.
then this year. And I was mad side for his blood round match this year against Steve-O. And
Yeah.
I mean, he wrestled a good match. It was just I didn't realize how tough Steve-O Poulin is.
Yeah. He's his life be like, ooh
Wait,
ah.
what'd you say?
I said his life be like, ooh ah.
My life be like.
Yeah. But I sent it to you. Speaking of that Poulin and Peterson match, I sent you that tweet where it seemed like Dean Peterson was pretty upset, and I didn't watch the match. Tucker maybe could elaborate more. That Peterson wanted them to throw a brick in his blood round match against Poulin, and he was pretty upset that they didn't throw the brick. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah. He was basically asking. It wasn't the head coach. It wasn't who was it? Goodale is the head coach, right? It's the shorter guy that was getting into it with Tom Ryan at Big Tens.
Okay, yeah.
What's that guy's name? I don't know. It was that guy, but Dean Peterson wanted him to throw the brick, and he was basically like, "There's no argument here."
Right.
I know it's tough to hear from your coach, like while you're trying to,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess back to the portal.
Yep.
Rocco Welsh.
That's a crazy one.
That is.
At the same time, there was rumors of it this winter that he was leaving. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Did you see Carter Srirachi tweet out about Zack Ryder?
Yeah, he was like, "We want Ryder or whatever."
Or yeah, Zack Ryder wins it all day or something. Yeah, basically.
Man, I guess I don't know what kind of Kool-Aid they're drinking in State College.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the culture over there is, it must be amazing because
right.
You get these guys who basically are recruited over. I mean,
yeah.
In a sense, I mean, you bring in Rocco Welsh, the guy who's the NCAA runner-up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like Ryder's going anywhere.
No.
He's just I want to stay. I want to, and I guess it's admirable, but.
Yeah, I mean it's national championship Kool-Aid, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're that good, and I don't know. I think a lot of what you hear when they ask those guys those type of questions are like, well, if I'm gonna be a national champ, I got to be the best guy on my team. So it's that type of logic. You know what I mean? Which I understand to an extent, but like you said, I also understand wanting to look around. Like, do you think Nagao looks around with Ono coming in and Marcus Blaze coming in?
Well, I think Nagao would, just because he's from Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah, originally he went to Minnesota first. Now he transferred in. Now he's getting kind of recruited over. So right. I could see him doing that.
Right.
But I don't know if you follow Zack Ryder. I follow him on Instagram.
Okay.
And he is a Penn State. I mean, he is like the cheer section for them. He is everywhere. He freaking loves that team.
That's everybody there, though. Like, even like when Barraclaw left, I feel like he was like ashamed of leaving. It felt like, you know what I mean? Like he's like,
I don't want to do this, but I kind of have to.
Yeah, he's a guy. My hands are tied. Like I don't have any other option here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, obviously they got a great culture there. But speaking of culture, Oklahoma State obviously is building something because guys are wanting to go there too. I mean, Swiderski and Facundo, I think both automatic AA threats, right? Like that's not unreasonable to say.
Yeah, threats, yeah.
Right. I mean, Swiderski's done it before. Facundo hasn't, but he's only had one shot. And he's got some wins over some really good guys, obviously.
We kind of saw the Oklahoma State like turnaround.
Yes.
That they can produce.
Yeah,
I feel like I brought it up a few times the last episode, but like Dean Hamidi.
Yes.
This is a kid who was like continuously taking losses against guys like O'Toole or
Or guys he was an AA level guy that could never break through to a national champion level guy.
Right.
That's what it felt like.
And he's a national champ now.
Yes. over
thing.
two legit dudes, obviously.
Yeah. Over two former champs.
Yeah. Three
Same thing.
titles.
Same
Three
thing
titles
with
in that bracket.
Wyatt Hendrickson is the same way.
Yep.
And it's
So, not to switch gears a little bit from what you're saying, but what weights do you think Swiderski and Facundo end up at? Because both of them seem like they kind of have options.
I feel like, I haven't seen Facundo wrestle since the Olympic team trials, but I think he's at 65.
I think so too.
I feel like because they wanted him. He went down to 57 this year, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Did he lose the KSAC in the wrestle off?
So the rumor was that he beat him in a wrestle off, like behind closed doors, and then lost in Black Knight Invitational, the Army tournament.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he made 57. Yes.
Okay. I can only imagine. He's a pretty big guy. He looks like a 65.
Yes.
And you get this kid, if he's sucking out a 57, and then you got Kasak, who is, I don't know how much he's cutting for 57, but he looked big.
Yeah, he's a full size 57.
But he looked like healthy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No.
He didn't look like he was too big for the weight. Like he wasn't struggling. Like
I can only imagine. I guess I can only imagine how that wrestle off went, but I think Facundo is going to go 65.
I think so too.
Swiderski.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, if Ladarian Lockett wants to go 65,
yeah, that's true.
It might be back down to 57 for you. We don't know how that match goes, but that's what I don't know. I don't know. I think people don't give Facundo enough credit. He beat Haynes at Olympic trials last year.
I know.
Like he might not have the NCAA folk style results, but he's damn good.
Yeah, no, he's very good. And I guess when we talk about this like potential lineup thing,
yep.
We are assuming that Ladarian Lockett is gonna go right away.
Right. Always an option to redshirt.
In recent years, though, it seems like that's kind of the trend. Like, if this kid is good enough now, we're gonna go.
Well, back to Olympic trials, Lockett put it on Meyer Shapiro at the last Olympic trials. Like, clearly he can compete with college guys. Yeah. I think that's more of when you say the recent, like you see it more. I think it's because these high schoolers are beating college guys. Yeah. So it's not like we hope he's good enough. Like we know he's good enough. You know what I mean? The data shows it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Swiderski too. Jameson is in there at 41. Who's their 49? Carter Young?
At NCAA's this year, it was Teague Travis.
Oh, yeah, Teague Travis.
Who was at 57 the year prior. I think he was a blood water at 57.
It sounds like Taylor can just convince anybody to go any weight. Like, Fish, you're going down. Travis, you're going down. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're losing Hamidi. So 74's...
They lose 57 and up.
Yeah. Everyone.
57 and up.
That's right.
They have a lot. That's why it's like, if Facundo can kind of do what he wants to do, it sounds like. As of now, at least.
Okay.
I don't think 74 is out of this world for Facundo. Like, he's a big kid. He got a big frame.
Yeah, he does have a big frame.
Yeah.
But, have you seen Lockett in person?
He's shorter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little shorter than Facundo, but, he's
put together?
Wide. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, I don't know. Who knows? That's kind of up in the air. I don't see a situation where they're going to be like, okay, why don't one of you sit and one of you wait?
Agreed.
Or one of you wait while the other one goes. They're going to find a way to put the best together.
I agree.
So, yeah.
You got Nasir Bailey going up a weight too. Talking about I assume, at least, right? You'd think Ayala stays 33. Bailey goes 41, right, for Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if that's maybe he was too big for 33. You know what I mean? Maybe he's better at 41, or maybe sometimes you see guys go up and it's not the same. It doesn't translate, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to go back to Oklahoma State, but
Yeah.
Swiderski. I mean, he was at 41
Yep.
his true freshman year. He was
Yep.
around a 12, and then he went up to 49. Correct?
Yeah, and then AA took 7.
AA, and now, I mean, what are we thinking? Where do you think he goes?
Well, he was at 41 at the start of this year. I think he competed a little bit and got hurt, I believe.
Didn't he lose his wrestle off to
Echemendia.
Was that this year?
I think it's the past 2 years. I think Echemendia kind of has his number, is what the rumor mill says.
Okay.
Because I think last year Echemendia wanted to go 49. The year that they both AA'd, I think Echemendia wanted to go 49. It sounded like Dresser convinced him to go 41. It's better for the team. And then the next year they flipped because Echemendia was like, hey, I'm beating him. I don't want to make the weight. Is what it sounds like.
All right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, way too early, lineup prediction, I guess, for Iowa. I mean, if they get Dean Peterson at 25, it'll be Dean, Ayala. Sounds like Bailey's going up, so 41 Bailey, 49
Williams,
57. It's kind of open, right?
Yeah, Rathjen left.
Actually, they had a backup 57-pounder wrestle a couple times this year. He was pretty tough.
Estrada?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only reason I know about it, I wasn't really paying attention to him, to be honest. No disrespect to Miguel Estrada. I don't know about him, but they burned his red shirt. Like, they wrestled him in one too many duels because he was backing up Teamer, and they sent Teamer, which I thought was, like, one of those things where it's like, dang, man, like,
yeah,
forfeit the weight for a duel or something, Like, right. I don't know. It felt wrong to do to the kid, but I don't know what's going on in that room, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Do you have anybody else in the portal you want to touch on, or?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other big names. Ferrari's still out there. He's open. I mean, we kind of touched on that. Yeah, Lachlan McNeil from UNC is still out there.
Yeah.
Jory Volk went in.
Yeah, Jory Volk.
I think Jory Volk, if they don't get Peterson, I think Jory Volk's got to be getting a call too, right? From Iowa. From Iowa. It kind of just sounds like they're trying to get a 25. Right. Who else is in there? It's a big name. We already touched on Rocco Welsh. Man, it's crazy. These are huge names.
Here, I'll check. But touching on the Rocco Welsh thing, I feel like Ohio State, up until the Welsh portal thing, I feel like they had a pretty good track record of keeping guys.
Yeah. I can't think of too many others that have done really well for them and left. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think the backstory, if people don't know about that, Welsh transfer has got to be Karchla getting the nod this year, right?
For this upcoming year? Or you mean
this past year? Yeah, and it sounds like, and these are all rumor mills that I'm getting these from, that they basically forced him to redshirt and said, we're going to let Karchla have his last year.
Yeah, and, see, I saw like that interview he did.
Mm-hmm.
Welsh. I think it was like
last
night or like 2 nights.
Yeah.
They basically were like, he basically kind of made it seem like, oh, we all kind of decided that I would redshirt. I mean, I don't think he's going to go out and publicly say they forced me to, but yeah, I could see that kind of being the case.
Yeah, and I could see being in his position, being upset when you just made the national finals, and then the guy you're sitting for goes 0-2. I mean, I could see that could rub you the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward, I guess the big ones to keep an eye out for are Jory Volk, Ferrari, and Lachlan.
Yeah. Speaking of Ohio State, I saw a tweet. I think Minio tweeted out that McNeil was looking closely at Ohio State, and I think he said that Chittum was committed to Ohio State.
Really?
Yeah, and I haven't seen an official Chittum to Ohio State yet. So
Do they think who do they have at 65 at Ohio State?
Patty Gallagher.
Do they think Cannon's going to go up?
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, it almost feels disrespectful to Cannon, especially when it's not like Chinham even placed. It's like they both kind of had disappointing tournaments. Probably both good enough to place. Like it's not like this guy's a level better than Cannon. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah. Yeah, Cannon had a hell of a year, and he's young too, right?
Yes, Cannon's a freshman, I think. But it almost makes me think. I feel like those two wrestled each other this year.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, my bad, bro. I'll bring the laptop next time. Get the wrestle stat going.
No, you're good. Yeah, he had an electric Big Ten tournament.
Cannon, made a run to the final.
Yeah, he was all over it.
Hey, how about that throw that Fish put on him in the what is that, the quarter, maybe?
Yeah.
Or,
that was like the move of like the tournament.
Not the quarter, the round before the quarter. Yeah, definitely. It was electric.
Yeah. This year, 2025 season, Cody Chittum and Brandon Cannon wrestled at the Cleveland State Open, and Cannon won 10-6.
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset if they went and got that guy, right? Like,
yeah, or unless obviously,
he's
Cannon
going up.
Has told them like, "Oh, I'm going up.
Or Chittum's going up, like something like that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that could be the case.
Yeah, I could see them clearing it with them. All right, let's do Hodge Tuck.
Yeah. To keep it simple, I think they got it right. My opinion was that Hendrickson should win it. And I don't think you're out of this world for thinking Strachey should have. I think even Messenbrink kind of had an argument. I think all three of them were obviously very dominant. Nobody had a loss. A lot of bonus for all of them. But to me, I thought biggest win, obviously, was Hendrickson over Gable. Like, in football, they talk about, like, players having a Heisman moment.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like the Heisman moment, right? Like,
yeah.
And I also thought Hendrickson's a pinner. Like, those other guys aren't pinners like Hendrickson is. And as much as dominant as a tech is, as dominant as a major is, like, pin is still the ultimate way to win a wrestling match. So I think that should be rewarded in the Hodge.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think you could argue for all three. I'd say that Messenbrink was probably. I mean, we talked about it last episode. I mean, he was pretty much like the only like lock.
Yeah.
I mean, Carter Strachey is Carter Strachey, but he was going up against Parker Keckeisen, and that's nobody to turn your nose up.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
and Carter in the Big Ten finals had a close one. Able to pull it out because he's Carter Strachey. Same thing in the NCAA finals. And Messenbrink, you can see like Caliendo was kind of like getting a little closer and closer towards the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, nothing. I mean, those guys, they're all good wrestlers.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough to beat a guy like Mikey Caliendo by tech fall.
Yes.
Every time you wrestle him, and
right.
I get it, but like, I think what you're saying about Wyatt and the pins, and then to cap off your career and the last match of the whole season being that dramatic of a moment. Yeah, it's hard to give it to the other two guys.
Yeah, and on the other hand, I see a lot of people saying like it's crazy we have a 5-timer that doesn't have a Hodge. It is crazy, especially when, he hasn't lost really in 4 years. He's got some injury forfeits in there, but what's his last legit loss? Kemmerer in the Big Ten finals?
Yeah, in 2021.
Yeah, so obviously he's been pretty dominant. He's won 4 national titles the last 4 years and hasn't really lost. Still doesn't get the Hodge. I think it just goes to show you how hard it is to win one. Like Jason Nolf doesn't have a Hodge. Like there's a lot of greats that don't have a Hodge. It's not. And I don't think it should be given for him just winning 5. You know what I mean? Like it's this season exclusively.
Right.
In my opinion, it should be. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think another part of it too is I think having 2 Penn State guys on there kind of hurt their odds. So I think it split the voters. You know what I mean? Like Penn State fans didn't know who to vote for, type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I saw the vote, I think it was 48% Hendrickson, and then like 40 Carter, and then maybe
like
12
for
Mitchell. Yeah. So it's like, if those 12 would have spoke to the 40 that voted for Carter, maybe we're talking about a different winner. But I'm glad that Wyatt won. I think that's definitely the correct choice.
Yeah, I'm glad he won too. I remember, what was it, when Penn State and Iowa dueled each other? Did he major him or Messenbrink? Did he major Caliendo?
Teched him.
So he tech-falled the number 2 guy in his weight class. At that point, I remember being like, he's winning the Hodge.
Yeah.
It's just kind of crazy how, 2 more months of the season can kind of change things.
Well, nobody in their right mind was betting on Hendrickson to win the Hodge. That's for sure. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Nobody's betting on him to win the tournament. I mean, people weren't even picking him to win the semis. So, yeah, it's crazy how it switches like that. I'm glad they didn't do a split. I thought they were going to do a split Hodge again. I was worried about that.
When was the last time they did that?
2020 or 2021. Sorry, the shortened season.
With who?
Spencer Lee and Gable.
That's right. Okay.
Was not a fan of that. I think you got to give it to one guy. Like I don't know. It feels disrespectful to all the guys that got second in the past to split it.
Okay. One more thing I wanted to bring up. Or actually, I got 2 more things.
Yeah.
We'll close it out here in a second. I saw Kyle Dake said he's got 4 more in him.
Yes, I did see that as well. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I don't think he's the rep in 2028 for us.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Especially because of how good Carr looked against Takatani.
Mm-hmm.
If he can piece it together, I mean, especially in 4 years. I mean, Dake's obviously one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
Time
exactly.
is not your friend.
Time is undefeated. Time is undefeated. And, I mean, my pick, maybe this is a bad pick too because Carr beat him head-to-head last time they wrestled, but I think Messenbrink has a good chance to be our rep.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of guys. O'Toole, I would assume O'Toole gets down to 74 kilograms for the trials, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
And, I mean, maybe Haynes goes back down. Hamidi. Like, there's a lot of good guys that are going to be. Nolf maybe still hanging around. I don't know.
I think Nolf is done.
Okay.
I think he's focusing on the grappling stuff.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing that he's still wrestling, though, for sure. Like, maybe he is still the best guy. I feel like I've kind of thought he was going to get knocked off before, and he's proved me wrong.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Like the last couple trials or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, maybe this is Nolf's year.
Yep.
And then he continues to,
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, every time he goes to the Worlds or Olympics, I mean, he's getting a medal. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
As much as it sucks that he can't break through and get the gold when you want him to, like.
Yeah.
A bronze and silver is not anything bad. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think or maybe make predictions about 2028 because it seems so far away.
And it is. I mean, there's probably kids in high school that are going to be contending for those spots. You know what I mean? Kids that are in high school right now will be contending for those spots in 3 years. So
yeah, I mean, at this last Olympic team trials, there were high schoolers that are still in high school that were on the national team.
Yeah,
so I think it's all up in the air.
That kind of brings up something I was thinking about. This is back to NCAA wrestling off of international. Well, I guess a little international. Do you think that Marcus Blaze should feel some type of way about them bringing in Ono? And the way I'm thinking about it is not only is it maybe a guy that keeps you out of the lineup, it also could be a guy that keeps you from winning the Olympics in 28. You know what I mean? Like he'll most likely wrestle an American, right, at some point, and we think Ono's 57 kilograms for the Olympics.
He's tiny.
So maybe not. Maybe Marcus Blaze is 65, but to Lillidahl, that's a competitor. To somebody in that room, it's a competitor. You know what I mean? In a sense.
Although, now that I think about it, they did have to do like a catch weight for that Lee versus Ono match. Maybe he is bigger. I don't know. He looks small, though.
Right. And he's a 61. I think he fits 61 kilograms, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a tweener, but.
Yeah, but I mean, we were talking about it last episode. I mean, Blaze comes in next year to Penn State. I mean, is he going? How would you think, right?
Yeah. It's. Especially in the era of the portal, too. I mean, you might redshirt a guy and he could decide to leave the next spring, like, and you never get to use him. Like, right. So I think if he's your best guy, you wrestle him in today's age.
Does Ono get to go right away?
I would think so, right?
Okay.
Unless there's some weird formality of credits transferring or something. I don't know. Yeah. I would think he's... But maybe he's not... It sounds disrespectful, but maybe he's not ready. Maybe he needs to get better on bottom. You know what I mean? Maybe they want to let him go to opens for a year and beat up on some backups. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be funny to see Masanosuke Ono wrestling at the Storm Open.
Yeah, some JUCO kid that's just trying to get
the Purple Raider Open.
Yeah. Some club kids just trying to get some matches in that weekend. Yeah. Draws Ono first round.
Oh man. All right, you got anything else?
I think I'm good, man. Kept it a lot shorter this time.
Yeah, well, we had to cover all that.
Yeah, the craziest weekend in wrestling. So.
Oh, I got an update for you.
Okay.
So Shane Tucker. For those that don't know, my dad is like kind of the quintessential like crazy wrestling dad.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah.
He hits me up last night. He goes, "How would you feel about Shane Sparks coming on your podcast?" And I go, "Well, we're still trying to. This is episode 2, like right now. Right. We're still trying to figure out like the production side of it." I was like, Crespo here didn't even have a mic the last.
Yeah. Or a tripod.
Yeah, or a tripod.
Yeah.
His phone was like shaking and stuff.
Raw dogging it. Yeah.
And I go, so yeah, it'd be cool, but we should probably wait. And he texts me back. He goes, "Well, he's on board."
I didn't know your dad knew Shane Sparks like that.
I don't know. He like hits him up on Facebook.
I think your dad is just like, he has that much Facebook lore that you got to respond to Shane Tucker if he hits you up.
I guess so.
Yeah.
So yeah, like apparently they've been, they've been talking, on and off for years. He'll be like, "Oh, look at what Shane Sparks and I are talking about," and I'm like,
right.
I'm like, "Dad, just leave the guy alone." But yeah, if Shane, if you're Shane Sparks, if you're listening, we want to get you on. Sometime in the future when we get things figured out.
Sorry, Sparks, but you are our second favorite Shane. Tucker takes the cake.
Yeah, the legend.
Yeah. Yes, legend.
All right, well.
All right, man.
There you have it, episode 2.
Talk soon. See you, bro.